Welcome along to another opposition preview, the show that gives you the lowdown of Saints' next opponents. And Saturday afternoon, we take a trip to Old Trafford, the last game of 2017. I'm with Stephen from Full Time Devils. Mate, how are you, mate?
I'm all right, mate, to be honest. On the back of 4 winless games, I think it's 4. It feels like 4, if it's not 4. I'm all right. Fairly confident for the rest of the season. It's not going to be a great vintage season for United, is it? But as long as we're progressing, I think I'm fairly happy, to be honest.
And we've spoken on your preview on your channel. You know, you've mentioned that something's broken. I'm not sure I can quite see it at the moment. I mean, you're still picking up points, you're still up there, but you know, Mourinho just isn't quite getting the results at the moment, is he?
When I say something's broken, I mean something's fundamentally wrong. Just in terms of the football, that we don't have an identity. There's a bit of a lack of leadership, and I'm not sure there's a game plan. Now, obviously, Jose Mourinho's a meticulous planner. That's one of the things that he's known for. But it feels as if that we're planning for what the opposition are going to do first and not thinking about how we're going to impose ourselves on the opposition. It doesn't feel like we're training for it. It doesn't feel like there's a clear way that Manchester United are going to win games. It feels like we're sort of setting up a team that's going to stop what you're going to do, and then, oh, you're good players, you'll figure it out, sort of thing. It doesn't feel like here's how we're going to attack. This is how we're going to win this game. It feels as if, it just feels very reactionary. It doesn't feel like there's a game plan in place. There's no other way I can put it, really. And
what I've noticed over the last couple of months, really, you haven't had Romelu Lukaku scoring many goals. You've had, as you said on your side, that you've scored a lot of goals that's been shared around the squad. Martial, Rashford, Lukaku. I mean, Lukaku scored down St Mary's last time we met.
He did, and he was in great form at the time, actually. I think he brings more to what Manchester United have got than Zlatan did, and I think that's evidenced by the fact that the goals are being shared out. I think we was set up last season to supply Zlatan, and he was the man that was scoring the goals. This season, Lukaku's more part of that front team rather than the sole focus. What's weird is Zlatan came from France with a very high scoring ratio, scored 50-odd goals for Paris in his final season, comes to United, still has a very good season, scoring 28. Lukaku's come from scoring a lot of, a very high percentage. I think he was more clinical than Kane was in his last season, or it was very close if he wasn't ahead of him in his last season at Everton. And you think, well, United create more chances than Everton. He's going to absolutely outstrip what he's done at Everton. But what happened with both Zlatan and Lukaku is both of their conversion rates have dropped to 12% at Manchester United, which makes me think that it's not the players, it's not Zlatan, it's not Lukaku, it's Manchester United's game plan, it's Manchester United's style of play is either making these players take shots in positions that we normally wouldn't take them in. It's making us take them from, you know, more certain positions. I mean, the goal Kane scored against you guys last week, it was a foot out. I mean, it would have been harder for him to miss. I mean, he's a very clinical striker, but he's getting into the right positions to make sure that the shots that he takes are better shots. United, I think, if I had to put my finger on it, I would say I think we just move too slowly. So I think that we take so long getting it out of defence, into midfield, and into the feet of our attackers that the opposition defence just comes back and just stops what we're about to do. If I had to put my finger on anything that's happening.
I mean, you still got a decent record at home this season. The only sort of time that we picked up some results is when Charlie Austin came off the bench, scored that wonderful header a couple of years ago now. But how do you think United are going to set up? Obviously, this is a festive period. You expect some rotation, right?
No, it doesn't rotate players a lot, especially the bigger players. We saw it last season with Pogba and Zlatan. There was times where you're like, Zlatan clearly needs a couple of weeks out of the team. It didn't happen. He does rotate the fringe players a little bit, but this season it looks like Matic is ever present. It looks like Pogba, when fit and available, is ever present, and Lukaku as well. There's a lot of arguments being made that he maybe needs a rest. I wouldn't expect to see it though. I imagine, it's not what I want to see, but I imagine we'll line up 4-2-3-1. I'm not a fan of 4-2-3-1. I like a 3-man midfield. I like to own that midfield space and attack from there. I don't like Pogba in the 6th position. I like him when he's further up the pitch and he's able to influence what's going on in the final third more. But what I think we'll see is probably Lindelof at right back. I hope Luke Shaw at left back, to be honest. There's a lot of talk that he's gone. He's going to be going to Spurs as part of some deal with Danny Rose. That's the word on the street. I hope not, because I guarantee he goes there and he becomes the best left back in Europe. Centre half, Rojo's now suspended, so it won't be him. I imagine it'll be Smalling and Jones. There's a slim chance it might be Blind, could be one of those as well, and an even slimmer chance it could be Tuanzebe. If you guys need a replacement centre half, getting him on loan would be an absolute cracking idea. It'll be Matic and Pogba in midfield, providing Matic is still all right he had to have an injection a couple of weeks ago. And then I would expect Jesse Lingard in the 10, the form he's in, and I expect it'll probably be Matter on the right, Marshall on the left, considering he's been on the bench. If he did pick up a knock, it'll be Rashford, and it'll be Lukaku up front. And if you sit back and put 10 men behind the ball, we'll struggle, because that's how it's gone down all season.
Well, we certainly need to be tight, and we've been very sloppy over the last few weeks. Got a few injuries of our own. Cedric's probably not going to be fit. Bertrand is a doubt, but we'll see in Pellegrino's conference. And there's no goals from Charlie Austin, who's injured and suspended. But leave us with your prediction, your score prediction, mate.
I think 2-1 United. I think it'll be nervy. I don't think it'll be a very confident performance from us. Despite the last few weeks, Jose broke a record that even Sir Alex couldn't do at Old Trafford, and that was to win, to not lose in 40 games at Old Trafford. You had to go all the way back to Sir Matt Busby for that record. So considering Fergie couldn't even do that, and the team and the performance of the team in general, with what we're getting from Jose Mourinho, is a very good home record, despite obviously last week against Burnley and what Manchester City did to us. So I'd expect us to get back into winning ways, but I think it'll be nervy because the confidence from the fan base isn't there, and it's certainly not there from the players either.
Sounds like a familiar tune there on our end as well. Not very confident from the fans or the players at the moment. But Stephen, big thanks for joining us, mate.
No worries, mate. I'll see you on Saturday.
Make sure you go ahead and check out the preview that I appeared over on Full Time Devils. I'm sure there's a link somewhere in the description and in the card, but leave us your predictions in below for our trip to Old Trafford on Saturday afternoon. Leave us your likes, your comments, and subscribe for more.